In the frozen world of the Vikings, sugar did not exist. There was no white powder, no corn syrup. Yet they possessed a substance so powerful, they believed it was the blood of the gods themselves. They called it the golden medicine. It healed their wounds after battle. It preserved their food through winter. And when fermented into mead, it gave them the courage to sail into the unknown. But today, you have been tricked. The jar in your pantry labeled honey is a lie. It is not medicine. It is a syrup designed to make you addicted, fat, and sick. We traded the nectar of nature for the poison of the factory, and the cost has been catastrophic. To understand why you are sick, we must look at the creature that builds the miracle, the bee. A Viking didn't just see an insect, he saw a messenger from the spirit world, because the process of making real honey is not manufacturing, it is alchemy. One single bee will travel to thousands of flowers just to make 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey. It creates enzymes within its own body. It transforms simple nectar into a biological weapon against bacteria. Real honey never spoils. Archaeologists have found honey in ancient tombs that is still edible 3,000 years later. It is eternal. It is life in a jar. But that is not what you are eating today. Today, the average person consumes 17 teaspoons of added sugar every single day. Not from fruit, not from raw honey, but from industrial sludge hidden in everything you buy. This modern sugar feeds cancer cells. It spikes insulin. It rots your teeth. The Vikings had perfect teeth. Skeletons from the era show almost no cavities despite eating honey. Why? Because raw honey is antibacterial. It fights the very bacteria that cause rot. Sugar feeds the rot. Honey stops it. They are opposites. But the industry knows you want to be healthy, so they sell you fake honey. Before we expose the honey laundering scandal, I want to ask you a question. Look at the honey in your pantry. Does it crystallize? Does it get hard? If it stays liquid forever, I have bad news for you. That is not honey. Section 1. The Great Honey Swindle. How they turned gold into lead. Commercial honey production is a crime scene. It starts with the harvest. In nature, bees keep their honey for winter. It is their survival food. Industrial beekeepers steal 100% of the honey and replace it with high fructose corn syrup. The bees are forced to eat junk food. They become weak. They get sick. And if the bees are sick, the honey is sick. But it gets worse in the factory. They use a process called ultrafiltration. They heat the honey to high temperatures. This heat kills the enzymes. It destroys the vitamins. It murders the medicine. Then they filter out the pollen. Why? Because pollen reveals where the honey came from. By removing the pollen, they can smuggle cheap, contaminated honey from unknown sources. It is called honey laundering, and it is one of the biggest food frauds in history. Laboratories have found that much of the honey on shelves is cut with rice syrup. Rice syrup is almost chemically identical to honey sugar. It is hard to detect, but your body knows the difference. One is nature, the other is pure glucose spike. When you eat this fake honey, your insulin skyrockets, your liver panics, you gain weight, you feel tired, you are inflamed, just like with the bread. Now, let's look back to the north, to the Viking Age. The honey they collected was raw. It was never heated, never filtered. It was cloudy. It was full of pollen, propolis, and royal jelly. This wasn't just food. It was a pharmacy. Raw honey contains amylase, an enzyme that helps you digest carbohydrates. It contains propolis, the bee glue, which is a powerful antifungal. Vikings used honey to dress wounds. If a sword cut deep, they packed it with honey. Modern science confirms this. Raw honey generates small amounts of hydrogen peroxide. It kills infection without damaging the skin. It is the perfect bandage. But put supermarket honey on a wound? You are just feeding the bacteria with sugar. The infection grows, the wound rots, because you used a counterfeit product. Section 2, the pollen paradox. Why you need the impurities. The industry calls pollen an impurity. They want clear, transparent liquid. But for the Viking, the pollen was the source of strength. Local pollen in honey acts like a natural vaccine against allergies. By eating the pollen of your land, you become immune to the land. When you filter it out, you are just eating empty calories, dead energy. And then there is the flavor. Real honey tastes like the forest, like the heather, like the pine trees. It changes with the seasons. It is complex. Industrial honey tastes like sweet syrup, always the same, boring, dead. The Vikings understood that nature is never uniform. It is wild. By standardizing our food, we have standardized our health to a low level. We have accepted mediocrity in our diet, and our bodies are paying the price. But there is a way out, a way to reclaim the golden medicine. It requires you to stop being a passive consumer and start being a hunter. You must hunt for the raw, the unfiltered, the crystallized, because in the world of honey, ugly is beautiful, solid is real. Section 3, the drink of heroes. Fermentation is the key. Just like with bread, the Vikings knew that time transforms food. They took raw honey, mixed it with water, and let the wild yeast take over. This created mead, the oldest alcoholic drink known to man. But this wasn't modern beer or wine. It was a probiotic elixir. The fermentation ate the sugar and created beneficial bacteria. A warrior drinking mead wasn't just getting drunk. He was fortifying his gut. In Norse mythology, the mead of poetry gave wisdom to anyone who drank it. It was said to be made from the blood of a wise being mixed with honey. This is a metaphor. Honey is wisdom. It is the distilled wisdom of the forest. Modern alcohol, beer, vodka, whiskey, is dead. It is distilled, sterilized. It destroys your gut microbiome. It leaves you weak and hungover. Traditional mead was alive. It gave energy. It connected men to the gods. We have forgotten the power of fermentation. We want everything instant. But nature does not rush, and neither should you. If you want to stop eating sugar, you don't just need willpower. You need a replacement. Nature abhors a vacuum. Replace the white poison with the golden medicine. Use raw honey in your tea. Use it on your porridge. The sweetness is different. It is intense. You need less of it. Your body recognizes it. It knows how to process it. It doesn't cause the same inflammatory panic as high fructose corn syrup. This is the secret the food giants hide. They want you addicted to the cheap stuff. Because real honey is expensive to make. It requires nature. It requires care. Corn syrup is cheap. It can be made in a lab in unlimited quantities. They chose profit. The Vikings chose power. What will you choose?
The sweetness is different. It is intense. You need less of it. Your body recognizes it. It knows how to process it. It doesn't cause the same inflammatory panic as high fructose corn syrup. This is the secret the food giants hide. They want you addicted to the cheap stuff. Because real honey is expensive to make. It requires nature. It requires care. Corn syrup is cheap. It can be made in a lab in unlimited quantities. They chose profit. The Vikings chose power. What will you choose? Section 4. The hunt. How to find the real gold. Do not buy honey from the bottom shelf of the supermarket. Look for the word raw or unpasteurized. This is non-negotiable. Look for crystallization. If the honey looks cloudy or solid, that is a good sign. Turn the jar over. A bubble should rise very slowly. Fake honey is runny like water. Real honey is thick like blood. Better yet, find a local beekeeper. Go to the source. Ask them, do you feed your bees sugar? Do you heat your honey? When you buy from them, you are saving the bees. You are saving the tradition. You are casting a vote against the industrial poison machine. The Viking path is not easy. It requires effort. But the reward is a body that lasts, a mind that is clear. Imagine waking up with energy. No sugar crash, no brain fog, fueled by the same substance that built the ships and conquered the seas. Stop eating their sugar. Start eating real food. The secret is in the hive. It has been waiting for you. If you are ready to reclaim your health, join us. Subscribe to The Buried North. We have more secrets to dig up. Next time, we look at the meat, the feast, the hunt. Until then, stay wild, stay strong.